in herbs. So this is the one basic or the major challenge we are facing in the quality control of the herbal products, because we know that in the world 75 to 80% of the population is laying on the natural resources or the herbal products in one or the other way. Either it may be a pharma or animal health, or else in the consumer products such as the cosmetic. This is a booming or the a buzzword for the today's world scenario. So when the herb is having a gaining importance day to day, automatically the traders or else the manufacturer or the traders or the collectors, whatever it may be, so they have thinking that we have to supply in not better quality but better yield or the better quantity. So then it leads to a adulteration or the substitution. So I won't say that due to the intentionally we are adding the adulterated type of herbs, but unintentionally it is also being a practice in a collections or like that. So first I would start with my topic. So where we are, see, the Himalaya Herbal Healthcare, now it is a Himalaya Global Holding. So we are a Indian-based multinational company, of course. So since 1930, so the Himalaya Drug Company or the Himalaya Herbal is existed. So our founder is a Meeraj Manal. He is basically a Burma, the Himalayan continent region person. So during those period, the herbs or the what are the natural resources, so that is a very gloriously, and then it is abundantly available during 1930 or 20 or whatever it may be. So he got some inspiration from during his collection trip or in the forest. So he saw one incident in the during his collection, elephant riding or climbing the hill station in that area without a restless type. So then he observed that what is that, why it is restless like that. It is taking some of the herbs or the natural resources, that is nothing but a Rauwolfia serpentina. Then he think that there is some a curative or there some property is there in that herb. So then he goes on researching like that. So then now, after that, he developed a one drug, that is our first type, that is a Serpina. Till now it is there in market. That is a natural anti-hypertensive drug, that is Serpina. Like that, so this type of development is taking place in the herbal industry, not only in Himalaya or in the world, whatever the manufacturing unit is there. That type of history is there in their own type. So now I coming to the important topic, that is the scenario of herbal raw material with respect to the industries. The herbal industries is mainly depending upon the natural resources. This is the backbone of the herbal industries. So it is not depending on the synthetic chemicals or the cultivated agricultural cultivation like that. So that's why the annual demand as per the recent data, so it is exceeds 125 tons per year. That is the annual demand in the herbs for the manufacturing units. So according to the NMPB data, it is already crossed, but I am giving the exact data, that is 91,209 tons. This is the NMPB, National Medicinal Plant Board data is there. So this is how recently the Government of India Ayush Department has said that there is 8,785 manufacturing units are there in India. Out of that, 87.42 is occupied from Ayurvedic type of manufacturing, and then remaining 5 or 4% is shared by Unani as Siddha and homeopathic types of drugs. So this is how the overall 8,000 for the manufacturing units are mainly depending on the natural resources as their raw materials. So this type of dependency is imposing to the natural resources, as ultimately what happens, there is no control on the quality of the material that is being used from the traders or the collectors. When specific plants or they suddenly become an interesting or the demand, so then automatically what happens, the local dwellers or the collectors will have a secondary thinking that is nothing but adulteration or the substitution, how to become a 1 quintal to a 1.5 quintals or like that. So this necessitates to give rise to adulteration or the substitution. If suppose any drug is not available in the market or scarcity is occur, so then automatically, so we are going to think in a substitution, that is instead of that plant, what is the next plant, like that. So adulteration or the substitution is nothing but it is a increase in the bulk to meet the raising demands, or else low quality of herbs can be putting into a original drug and then to become a bulk drug, or else substitution means any scarcity is there, so then automatically we can go for the substitution type of drugs. So here I would like to present two types of examples what we are facing the problems. So this is some of the local peoples are like that. Whenever we are the collectors or the manufacturers, so when they ask for any type of drugs, we want like that in the villages. So unintentionally they are taking the plant material, and then they are, along with the original plant material, they are going to collect into some other plants, unintentional or intentionally also. So then different types of techniques are employed into adulterating or the authentication of the raw materials. So normally all the herbal industries, they are following some of the methodology to control the quality. So that is nothing but initially whenever the raw materials comes into the industry, so with the help of the pharmacognostic techniques, so they are authenticate the raw material, then it holds good within the windows, limitations it comes, so then they will pass into the next extraction or some other levels. So normally the herbal raw material pharmacognosy has 2 to 3 types of fields is occurring into the pharmacognosy level. That is the standardization and evaluation through taxonomical or sectioning, like that in a traditional way. When we observe some of the sections, cut sections, or the with the help of the taxonomical morphological sections, so we can able to say that this is the authenticate or not. So other than that one, recently a hallmark technique, that is nothing but authentication by molecular markers such as RFID and HPTLCs, or else ISSR, or even the advanced technology, that is the barcoding, is also now we are doing. Apart from that, a phytochemical screening or the phytochemical fingerprint is also a one type of parameter to say that this is the authenticated the plant material with the help of the TLC or HPTLC. So apart from that, toxicological screening. So these are some of the hand-to-hand technologies are there in different ways. So altogether, in one particular plant is authenticated, or it is mixed with some other toxicological or alternate methods like that we have. So this type of quality control over these problems. So even some of the codes or some of the journals or the publications are saying that so faith in herbal drugs is declined due to the adulteration. So many reports or something is coming in the newspapers or news like that. So there is a death or something, malnutrition is there like that due to the adulterations. So this correct identification, or else the quality assurance of the starting material, is an essential tool for the herbal medicine. Initially, we have to authenticate the herbal material, otherwise it may go to some other adverse effect. So pharmacognosy or else a DNA fingerprint is a molecular marker. So as we know that initially we can authenticate the plant material with the help of the pharmacognosy, the sectioning type of the taxonomical evidences. So we have some of the illustrated case studies are what we are facing day-to-day problem in manufacturing units. So some of them are confusion in vernacular names. So normally, so in North India, we may call it as some type of vernacular name, whereas the same similar vernacular name, we call it as some other plant in the South India. For example, Pashanabheda is there, one of the Sanskrit name. So there are two plant materials, we call it as Pashanabheda. One is Bergeria ciliata in North India, whereas the Arivia lanata is also said that Pashanabheda in South India, such as Kerala and then Tamil Nadu. So originally, what we Pashanabheda in Ayurvedic Sanskrit scripts or the Charaka Samhita, that is Bergeria ligulata. So this type, when we call or when we order the supplies to Pashanabheda or like that, he may send it the other type of plant material. When we come into it, because whenever we receive the plant material, it is in the dry form, not in the wet form or like that. It may be a powder or partially powder, or it may have the taxonomical characters, flowers or fruits or not like that. So during that period, so it is a very difficult to authenticate the plant material. Next is many vernacular names for two or more different species. So either it may be a confusion in the names or else intentionally they may say that this one. For example, Tamarix gallica. So the same Tamarix gallica type, looking like the same type of plant material is there, that is Casuarina equisetifolia. That is also it is looking like same. If you mix the both leaves, that is a needle type of leaves are there. So if we mix both leaves, we cannot distinguish which is a Tamarix gallica, which is. But Tamarix gallica is having a therapeutic effect, whereas Casuarina is a avenue tree. So similarly, a ginseng is there. When you say that ginseng, there are 13 species. We call it as ginseng. Panis ginseng, Panis pantifolias, and Withania somnifera is also Indian ginseng, like that. So common name for the multiple plants. For example, if you say that Brahmi. So if you go for north, so it is called as Centella asiatica. When we go for south, it is a Bacca commonera. So this type of confusion is there in vernacular names or the multiple names. Whereas lack of knowledge about the authentic source. So Messiophyra, it is called it as in Ayurvedic Charaka Samhita, Sushruta Samhita, it is a Nagakesara. Whereas since it is a restriction in wild collection because it is an endangered type of plant, so that's why intentionally or authenticated, the lack of authentication, the Calophyllum is also called as Nagakesara. So next, similarly, the similarity in morphological sections. When we look into the seeds of mucuna, there are variety of mucuna seeds are looking like same pin type, papillonis member. So mucuna appearance is there, mucuna deluginiana, mucuna utilis, and Canavina seniciformis. So this is how, when we call it as a mucuna and then we order the mucuna, so the supplier may give rise to any type of plant material such as mucuna. So non-availability of authentic materials, St. John rods. So this is Hypericum parviformum, limited availability is there. And then we can easily distinguish this is from Hypericum petallium with the help by presence of calcium oxalate in the sections, the stem section. So this is how the adulteration is also there, and due to the color and then nature. So we have similar type of aroma and then color is there in Hemidesmus indicus versus Decalepsis hamiltoni. So the aroma or the flavor is similar. So when we say that Hemidesmus indicus, they may supply it as a Decalepsis hamiltonis. So more than one botanical herb for single entity. such as Shankapushpi. So if you say that Shankapushpi, some of the suppliers are supplying Evalus alcinoides as a Shankapushpi, some of them are supplying convolvulus pluricensis, clitoria and Cascara decussata. So which is Shankapushpi, we don't know. According to the Ayurvedic Pharmacopoeia of India, so clitoria pluricensis, sorry, convolvulus pluricensis is the Shankapushpi according to the API. Similarly, careless of collection. During the collections, what happens? For example, a best example is Parmelia perlata, that is the lichens. Normally, it looks like a similar type, and then it is growing in a similar type of areas. So this is the original Parmelia perlata, that is lichen. Whereas if we ask for the suppliers, this is a species, of course. So the other type of species is also get contaminated with this type of plant material. So due to the restriction of the distributions, for example, best is the Emilia ribis. So nowadays, getting the Emilia ribis is very difficult. For that, they are included in the Emilia robusta. So there are several research articles are coming on this type of plant materials. So substitution with inferior plant materials, for example, Piper nigrum, that is the spice, is normally mixed with a small quantity of Caraca papaya, that is papaya seeds. We cannot distinguish very easily in a tons together plant material. Of course, half kg or quarter kg we can distinguish, but when we come across with a maximum, so Cassia fistula same. So again, the fruit of the Cassia fistula is associated with Cassia grandis. So this type of substitution is also occur in this one. To overcome this type of problems, we can go for the pharmacognostic evaluation such as morphological characters or microscopical characters, or else anatomical histostainings, and then such as phytochemical TLC. Suppose what happens sometimes, so TLC, for example, Emilia ribis and then Emilia robusta. So chemically, the same chemicals is passing in the qualitative analysis of the HPTLC. Whereas in the morphological or taxonomically, both species are different. So this type of distinguishing is in one technique it may pass, but in other technique it may push through. So we can catch the adulterating in the another one. So that's why there are 3 to 4 techniques will mingle together to form a quality control. So here the molecular marker or the RFID technology or DNA fingerprint will play a major role in that control. So this is how recently in the Indian Pharmacopoeia, the DNA based authentication technique is also incorporated. So that's why, so common adulteration in Goksura, for example, Tribulus terrestris is a hepatoprotective one. So Tribulus terrestris is almost adulterated with the Padamyl murex. So for example, this is the hepatoprotective one, whereas the similar type morphologically it is similar, the another pedalium is coming. So entirely the family is different, but it looks like a similar type of spiny fruits are there. So that's why we cannot get this one. So due to this type, so we are taking the utmost care with the help of the DNA fingerprinting, such as some equal somewhere in the molecular level it is different. So this type of technology will help for the DNA fingerprints. So here what happens in the TLC or the chemical authentication, so there is some demarcation is there with the help of this. So we can say that, so this is the adulterated or the other type of plant material will come in. So here pedalium is having a extra peaks are there. So this type can be identified with the help of the TLC as well as the molecular marker. So another one is substitution. Due to the geographical variations, we come across several types of Mammadica carintia, bitter gourds. So one is long and then one is short type, north and south type. So here what happens, so due to this type of receiving the herbal materials, one can say that this is not a Mammadica carintia like that. So when we come across with the DNA fingerprints, it is said that, so due to the geographically it is a small one, but the genetically it is a similar. So this is how we can authenticate the plant material with the help of the TLC as well as the DNA fingerprints. See, bitterness, everything will be similar in the species. So this is how the fidelity test through the, because the session is included in the bioreactor and tissue culture fidelity, so that's why I prepared this one, but due to the mixing up of my session with this one, so I go back to quickly. So this is how we are also concentrating on biodiversity aspect, that is the conservation. So through conservation we are propagating some of the endangered plants, and then we are authenticated with the genetic fidelity, and then we are planting to the forest only. So this is how. So that's what. If you have any questions, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gururaj. I request the audience for 1 or 2 questions, please, because we are